Welcome to Rise and Learn English. Today, I want to tell you a story. It is a story about leaving everything behind. It is a story about stepping into the unknown, facing your deepest fears, and finding your true voice. I call this story, I Go to the New World. Listen closely. Imagine this is your story. You pack your entire life into 2 suitcases. You hug your family goodbye at the airport. You cry, but you are also excited. You are flying across the ocean to a new country, a place where everyone speaks English. For years, you studied this language in your bedroom. You memorized lists of vocabulary. You studied the past tense, the future tense, and the present perfect. You got A's on all your English tests. You feel ready. You think, I know English. I will be fine. But then, the airplane lands. You step out of the airport and into the new world. Suddenly, everything is loud. The taxi driver asks you a question. He speaks so fast. His words do not sound like the words on your audio CD. They are connected. They are messy. You freeze. Your heart beats quickly. You say, "Excuse me?" He repeats the question, but you still do not understand. Finally, you just nod your head and point to the address on a piece of paper. You look out the window of the taxi, and a heavy feeling drops into your stomach. You realize the terrifying truth. You studied English for 10 years, but you cannot have a simple conversation. For the first few months in the new world, you live in a prison. But it is a prison with invisible walls. It is the prison of silence. You are surrounded by millions of people, but you feel completely alone. You are afraid to go to the grocery store because the cashier might ask you a question. You are afraid to answer your phone. When someone talks to you, you smile and nod. But inside, you are panicking. You spend your evening sitting in your small apartment, holding your grammar book. You think, if I just study harder, if I just memorize more words, I will be able to speak. You study until your eyes hurt. But the next day, you walk outside, and nothing has changed. The fear is still there. The wall is still there. Then, one rainy Tuesday, something happens. You are sitting in a local coffee shop. You are hiding in the corner drinking tea and watching the people. You watch a group of friends laughing at a table. You watch a businessman ordering a sandwich. They look so relaxed. They do not think about grammar. They just speak. At that moment, you make a decision. You realize that your grammar book is not protecting you. It is trapping you. You close the book. You say to yourself, I cannot live in silence anymore. I did not cross the ocean to hide in my room. I came here to live. You decide to find the real best way to learn English. The first thing you change is your mindset. You realize that you are trying to be perfect, and perfection is the enemy of connection. When a baby learns to walk, they fall down 100 times. Do they feel ashamed? No, they just stand back up. You decide to become a baby again. You give yourself permission to fall down. You give yourself permission to sound foolish. The next day, you go to the supermarket. You need to find the rice. Usually, you would walk around for an hour in silence to find it yourself. But today is different. You walk up to an employee. Your hands are shaking. Your throat feels dry. You open your mouth and you say, "Excuse me, where is rice?" It is not a perfect sentence. You forgot the article the, but the employee does not laugh. He does not pull out a red pen and correct your grammar. He just smiles, points down the aisle, and says, "Aisle 4 on the left." You say, "Thank you." You walk to aisle 4 and you feel a rush of electricity in your blood. You did it. You communicated. You had a need. You used the language, and you got a result. It was messy. It was broken. but it was real. You realize that native speakers do not care about your grammar mistakes. They only care about your message. You stop trying to be a perfect student, and you start trying to be a communicator. With this new confidence, you change your strategy. You stop studying English, and you start absorbing English. You realize that the best way to learn is through immersion and observation. You start listening to the music of the language. When you sit on the bus, you take out your earphones. You stop listening to music from your home country. Instead, you listen to the conversations around you. You notice that people do not speak like robots. They do not say, "What are you going to do?" They say, "What you gonna do?" They do not say, "I have got to go." They say, "I gotta go." You start collecting these real phrases. You stop translating words in your head. Translation is too slow. It is like doing a math equation before every sentence. Instead, you start connecting the English sound directly to the feeling. When you feel cold, you do not think of the word in your native language. You just feel the cold wind and think, "It's freezing." You label your world in English. You start thinking in English. Then, you discover the power of shadowing. You go back to your apartment, but this time, you do not open a textbook. You open YouTube. You find a video of an actor or a speaker you love. You play one sentence. You pause it, and you repeat it exactly as they said it. You copy their rhythm. You copy their emotion. If their voice goes up, your voice goes up. You walk around your living room, acting out the words. You are training your mouth muscles to dance to a new song. You realize that pronunciation is not an intellectual skill. It is a physical sport. You have to train your jaw, your tongue, and your lips to move in new ways. Weeks turn into months. The new world doesn't feel so new anymore. It feels like home. One evening, you are at a small party. A neighbor invited you. Before, you would have stayed home. But tonight, you are here. A woman sits next to you and asks, "So, how long have you lived here?" Before, your brain would have frozen. You would have searched your mind for the perfect verb tense. Have I lived? Did I live? Am I living? But tonight, you don't think. You just speak. You say, "About 6 months. It was hard at first, but I really love it now." The woman smiles. "I totally understand. I moved here from a different city 5 years ago, and I was so lonely at first." You spend the next 20 minutes talking. You talk about the food, the weather, and your families. You make mistakes. You use the wrong preposition once or twice. You forget a vocabulary word and have to describe it instead. But the conversation flows. You are laughing. She is laughing. You are sharing your human experience. As you walk home that night under the streetlights, you feel a deep, warm peace in your chest. You look up at the sky. You survived. You conquered the fear. You realize the ultimate secret, the absolute best way to learn English. It is not an app. It is not a secret grammar rule. It is not a magical textbook. The best way to learn English is to live your life through it. It is the courage to open your mouth when your heart is beating fast. It is the humility to make a mistake and smile about it. It is the understanding that language is not a subject to be tested. It is a bridge between human beings. If you are listening to this right now, and you feel stuck in the silent prison, I want you to know that the door is unlocked. You have the key. The key is your willingness to be imperfect. Do not wait until your English is perfect to start speaking. Speak so that your English can become perfect. Step out of your room. Look at the people around you. Listen to their music. Echo their sounds. Make the mistakes. The new world is scary, yes, But the new world is also beautiful. It is full of opportunities, friendships, and stories waiting for you. But they are waiting for you in English. Take a deep breath. Leave the textbook on the desk. Walk out the door. The world is ready to hear your voice.